and I did not want to move into the match without our delay. So we are, though, getting into the first playoff series. And you may think, okay, 1 seed versus 8 seed. You know, obviously the 1 seed's going to win, right? Not last night. Better than Bots, who dominated C East. I mean, really just C West. Really hammered C West the whole season. Comes out and lose to Team Training Wheels in a 2-1 series last night. So anyone can beat anyone here in the playoffs. So definitely do not sleep on Durotan's couch. A team who has pulled many upsets this season. I believe they beat Tricky Gooses, if I recall correctly. I know they beat One Tricks 2-0, I believe. So, rooting for the team you're on. How tacky, Kappa. Will be interesting to see what happens as we move into the series. Just waiting on the ready call. Someone in chat posting that they're low-key worried about double Canadian internet, as am I. Looks actually like everyone's ready to go, so I'm not sure what we're waiting for, but hopefully it won't be long. Taking a look at the map picks, you can see bans on the BOE and Tomb by Tiny Dancers. BOE, always a Durotan's Couch special, dating back to when they were Jimmy's Got a Gun back in week 1. But here we go, to the draft, taking a second for OBS to decide that Heroes of the Storm exists. There we go. Tiny Dancer's more like Tony Danza. Exactly. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. So with that, exciting series. Tiny Dancers, a team that did really well last season in B East. Back again this season. I would say them and Roomba rotations were certainly the top 2 returning teams. Roomba had some slip-ups here and there, but otherwise, I think just the top 5 teams, top 6 teams in B East, were really, really competitive with each other. So I suspect we'll see a competitive playoff series as we move into this match. First ban, I should say, has been Deckard, who has really ramped up in popularity in B East, especially this season. Late down the line, that Ruby still hasn't been nerfed back to mortal levels for some reason. I don't purport to know why. But you can see 55% win rate, which is very high. KT gonna get banned out by Durotan's Couch. Abather, perhaps something scouted, or perhaps just a general map ban. In either case, Abba will not be seeing the fields of the Hollow, which is most cursed. Only a 51% win rate in a season. Obviously a low pick rate, but when it is picked, it of course can be very, very impactful. Last pick to come in here. Last ban, I should say. Garrosh. Garrosh has always kind of been the third wheel. Currently a 17% pick rate, which is a lot lower than I would expected. Only a 44% win rate, which is a bit surprising, all things considered. I'll be honest, I expected it to be higher. ETC, though, the first pick, not too surprising. It is a hero that Durotan's Couch puts a lot of priority on. They run it both at the tank and at the solo lane, so they want to take that off Durotan's Couch hands, as they set a lot of things up off the Mosh. Durotan's Couch is a very combo-centric team. They've been that way going all the way back to Season 1 as Jimmy's Got a Gun. But Joanna Rhaegar, not a bad opening volley, to say the least. Rhaegar does indicate Bloodlust, although I still think Ancestral is very pickable in certain situations. Lucio Ming. So Lucio going to be the healer choice. That is definitely something we've seen out of Materium a bit. Taking a look at his stats on the hero, or excuse me, their stats. I'm not familiar with Materium to know the pronoun they prefer, so Forgive me if I was incorrect. But taking a look here. Last ban for Durotan's Couch. Materium 6-2 on the hero. Very strong. Lost Vikings banned out. That is definitely suggesting a targeted ban. And, you know, with the ETC Lucio Ming, they do have opportunities to pick, so denying at least the soaking tool while they look for picks makes a lot of sense. Last ban to come in, I would guess something like a Rainer. It's an Alarak. Is Alarak going to be banned out? Leaving up Maiev, which I know Ace is a fan of. Thank you for that, Materium. I generally try to avoid asserting pronouns when I can. With that,
anytime you're ready.
There's the Rainer I expected. The Falstad is definitely a comfort for Captain Wedge, but if that is their solo lane, which if Wedge is playing it, it very probably is, that does make me a bit worried about the front line, especially it will limit how much aggression Rhaegar is able to show. Here we go. And Liddell is going to jump onto the Varian and Sylvanas. This is a very aggressive comp. I'm going to guess that's taunt to set up Ming. Although, in theory, it could be Smash. I'm expecting taunt. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. Ace grabs Hanzo. So this is a very, I mean, I'll just say it, a soft front line coming out from Durotan's Couch. Going to be a lot of pressure on Sir Noble. Especially with that potential aggression on the side of Varian, maybe jumping in, grabbing a taunt onto that Hanzo or Rainer. Especially Hanzo or Falstad. Could be imminently blown up. So I think this is risky, I'll say. I'll say it is a risky comp coming out from Durotan's Couch. You know, if I weren't looking at the names, I would already like Tiny Dancer's comp more. I still think Tiny Dancers is the best team in B East. I think they're not far and away the best team, but I think they are the best team. So I think they'll win this, but if I just looked at the comps, I gotta be honest, I don't like Durotan's Couch's comp. But we'll see whether I'm right or wrong as we get set up for the match here. Second to do that. Here we go. And as we go to introduce the teams, on the left side, it will be Tiny Dancers. We're going to have Feldroth on Sylvanas, Liddell on Varian, Silver is going to be on ETC, Materium on Lucio, and Fishing Queen on the Li Ming. That is Tiny Dancers, your 1 seed, and the challenging 8 seed is going to be Durotan's Couch, Big Egg Roll on ETC, Ace on Hanzo, Sir Noble on Joanna. Excuse me, Big Egg Roll is not on ETC, Caster Bad, Big Egg Roll is on Rainer. Wild Card is on Rhaegar. Finally, Sir Noble on Joanna. Caster messed that one up. Sorry, everyone. Right out of the gate, level 1 talents. Fairly standard across the board. Lion's Maw is, in my opinion, the better pick right now. Block Party from ETC to deal with that Rainer auto attack. And if it nullifies out the Rainer, give him some pepper. Certainly going to get some value in that process. Ming going with the Force Armor, interestingly enough, for the Spell Armor. Into a lot of auto attack. Now, Hanzo did go Stormbow rather than, say, something like Redemption, so that does indicate more Spell Armor. Meanwhile, Rhaegar soaking the top lane. Here it is, folks, the DB Smiley Storm League experience. Just add people blaming the healer for side-soaking when no one else did, and then shouting homophobic and racist slurs. And you know exactly what it's like to be a healer in Stormleague. Congratulations. Raynor working away. Did go ace in the hole, not exterminator, so gonna take a little bit longer on the siege. Sylve doing the same, but of course, both can pretty easily just stutter step and not have to worry about taking any damage. Now, both teams went for their siege first, and you would actually, if you were on the side of Durotan's couch, really would want to go Bruiser's siege rather than siege Bruiser's, just because you would want your siege in the side lane when the objective timer kicks off. That's when you typically want to cap it, get max value. This is going to give Varian a chance to clean it up a bit. That said, pushing into Falstad is difficult, to say the least. Falstad doing a pretty good job pressuring up this Varian at the moment. Varian, it is taunt, as I expected. Ming, however, might be going orb build. Then again, that level 4 talent I see picked even when it's something like a Q build Ming. Even a Calamity Ming. I think a lot of Mings just prefer that. I like this. Feldroth holding it a bit, making sure that the Bruiser camps neutralize on his half of the lane, as we'll see here in a bit. First tribute's going to be top middle. There is still a Siege Giant up here for Tiny Dancers, but it is getting cleaned up. No real value gotten off it. On the other side, Lucio came down to get some last soak from Falstad, who can fly. Falstad did go bribe, so watch for those... although he didn't go the level 4 W talent for the shielding, still went auto attack heals. But watch for his 7 to see if he goes Boomerang for the wave clear or the increasing damage from W. ETC going for the channel, gets interrupted by Hanzo. Only 3 members up here from, now 4 from Durotan's. They're noble, going to be able to get the flashlight stalled. ETC channeling again, but Falstad poking over the wall, and so we will get our first 5v5 of the game. And Durotan's couch actually up in soak at the moment. As we'll zoom out a bit, that way we can see this whole fight unfold. Captain Wedge looking for the channel. ETC power slide through. They're looking for big egg roll. Raynor is still alive. Actually gets a little bit of healing off there and will survive for the time being. That said, this healing totem doesn't provide a lot, and Durotan's couch not really able to stay in it regardless. Materium going for the channel. Big egg roll not able to get the interrupt. Hanzo does. ETC currently up in the lane trying to grab some XP, but now looking to step up again. Sylvanas, though, has gone down to the mid lane. So Durotan's couch could get aggressive here. They're grabbing their taps, and they're stepping up now. Ooh, there's a potential to engage onto Materium. Materium takes a lot of damage, but it's actually Falstad getting turned around on by Tiny Dancers there. Ace had a really good Hanzo W to nuke down Lucio, but the burst damage turnaround onto the Falstad was enough to secure the kill. ETC has not picked a 7 yet. We don't know if it's Echo Pedal or Pinball Wizard. I could also be Hammer-On in theory. But I think into this squishy comp, I quite like the Pinball Wizard, unless you're planning to side soak later with the Sage Dive, which, you know, is something that Durotan's couch has done. Meanwhile, up in the top, Hanzo has actually gone down here. T-Tors. Thank you for the essay.
Gather tribute.
Sylvanas cleaning up
The choice is simple.
the Siege Giants. Siege Giants have been picked up by Durotan's currently in the lane. Durotan's also, their Bruiser has been picked up recently, I believe. Yep, so that will not be available. In theory, Tiny Dancers could get their Bruiser into the lane, but with the tribute spawning, I think it's a little bit late to start that. Now a little bit of a split, and actually it's Tiny Dancers split here around their own objective, and it's going to be very hard for ETC to step up. You're seeing ETC working to make the long rotation. They do have stalls potentially with Lucia, with Ming. Liddell getting the stall there with the Lion's Ball. ETC, though, still rotating in, but does get around. Wedge looking for the turn-in. There is the engage onto Joanna. The power slide enables the finish there. She was already a little bit low and goes down further. So that is 2 tributes now in the pocket of Tiny Dancers. And they are on curse point, and they are starting their boss. From there, looks like Durotan's Couch, same idea. Level 10s are here just now for Tiny Dancers, still about a half level away for Durotan, who have lost that XP lead. We're seeing Wailing Arrow, Disintegrate, Warbringer, Stage Dive, and the Sound Barrier. And actually ETC stepping up, but Silver is, let's just put it this way, a very, very lone cow. Now the rest of the team is coming. Silver needs to stay alive. Power slides through. They find Falstad. As they find Rhaegar as well before level 10 is hit, they are going to get the double boss steal. Looks like Durotan's was banking on Tiny Dancers just going for curse. And instead, they didn't do that. ETC, though, power sliding, or stage diving in to get the curse. A good decision here to blow the ult. It's a relatively short cooldown, but it makes sure that they get the curse while there are some deaths on the table. And they still have Varian to set up kills. Blessed Shield, Sir Noble trying to get out of this one, but he will not. Down goes Sir Noble.
Blue team has destroyed the Blue team
That
has
will
destroyed
be
the fort.
this boss marching down top lane with a curse. Bottom fort has gone down to boss as well. Rhaegar currently soaking in the mid, but we're going to keep our attention here into the top. From there, Rana steps up, looks to the engage, doesn't really have any follow-up. Bing does get the reset on Orb. Liddell looking for the taunt, doesn't find it, starts to back up. This keep is weak. Curse lasting another 10 seconds. They should be able to get this, as the boss is still incredibly healthy. I mean, this boss is likely to do real damage to core if Durotan's Couch doesn't find a way to damage it. Durotan's Couch does have their ults. We haven't talked about them yet. It is the Mighty Gust, the Dragon's Arrow, Blessed Shield, Bloodlust, and Hyperion. They will clean these bosses up, but they have lost both their keeps off this curse. So Tiny Dancers technically only got 4 structures off the curse, but cleaned up that 5th structure after the fact. And that is a devastating blow for Durotan's Couch here in game number 1. This was Durotan's Couch map, but as yet, they have not secured a kill, nor have they won a curse token. So it's going to take a very mighty comeback here against Tiny Dancers. Looks like Sylv making a play for the Bruiser camp. Durotan's Couch doing the same. Take an eye at what Falstad's stacks are at. He is at 7, so some fair bonus damage there. Look, ETC hovering around the mid. These camps down here in the bottom being cleaned up by Falstad. Tiny Dancers looking like they want to pressure up this heat mid with the Bruiser camp. They do have the Merc Queen coming out from Sylvanas. We're going to keep an eye on that. Now it looks like we have a gank squad. I think they're expecting that top rotation, want to try to grab a kill off it. Recognizing now that the tribute's up, Varian wants to go top, clear the lane, push the siege, and make Durotan's clear that. Level 16 on the horizon for Tiny Dancers, but Durotan's with a brief opportunity for an equal talent tier engage. Question is, will they get it? ETC can stage dive in, so while this looks like it could be a 5v4, ETC can join a heartbeat. Very aggressive flank from the members of Durotan's Couch. Bloodlust used. There's the Blessed Shield. Lust may have been a bit early, as really Tiny Dancers weren't in a lot of trouble when the Bloodlust was blown. And now, the taunt coming in onto Sir Noble. ETC engages onto the backline. Wailing Arrow comes out, and the health bar, though, just starting to fall, and it's Sir Noble who's going to fall first. Still dives with the help of Ming, gets a big egg roll down. And that is 2 kills. And now Hanzo getting engaged on. ETC did go Echo Pedal, so didn't have the burst damage there. But Falstad having to clean up the core at that point. So Durotan's really, really in a lot of trouble. All things considered. Now down to talent tier. And Tiny Dancers recognizing the Raider death. They're going to push up with their Sylve and start working down this last keep wall. Durotan's couch currently looking like the last stand at Helm's Deep, and I do not see Gandalf on the horizon. Here on Cursed Hollow. Tiny Dancer's going to work down their own boss. And they can afford to do this, as Durotan simply hasn't shown any ability to get these curse tokens. Durotan's really has no need to try to pressure. Or, excuse me, Tiny Dancers has no need to try to pressure. But I think Durotan's is expecting the boss play. And I think they're desperate enough to go for it. Stage Dive comes in, but not really needed there. Durotan's made a big commitment to try to contest that boss, but just nothing really happened. Falstad flew top looking for the channel, and that might have been a misplay. Wedge gets taunted. Here comes the damage. Mighty Gust used, doesn't catch Lucio. Materium, actually Sylve dot damage gets the finish. Meanwhile, this boss pushing in the bottom, being defended by the rest of Durotan, save for Joe, who's defending the top. ETC cleaning up the mid, and top boss being taken. Tiny Dancer's certainly going to be able to end off this.
I grow tired of your petty squabbling. Gather tree. Earn my favor.
Here comes the push. Mid keep going down. Boss starting to work its way down the lane. Durotan's, they have 16. They're waiting on Falstad. This is going to be their last stand, you would think. Tiny Dancers actually backing off. They're looking like they might play for the curse token, which I'm surprised by. I mean, this is a very full health boss. I know this map is risky to end on because of those minus 75 armor core, but I'm just surprised. I think they could easily have looked to end with the boss. At least looked for a pick-off. They're going to do that here.
Red team's
The curse is up, but now they don't have the boss. They do have a couple katas inbound. Ooh, there's the big power slide. Blust used, trying to get some kind of turnaround. Almost feel like that Blust was used for the movement speed to get away. But Feldroth, meanwhile, taking a ton of damage. And oh my goodness, Falstad securing the kill. Hanzo, I thought, was going to secure it with the E. I thought that's what would have happened, but it wasn't. And now Tiny Dancers gets their first death of the game, and they might be able to salvage this on the side of Durotan's and keep their core alive, at least somewhat. 76% health. Well, perhaps that's why Tiny Dancers didn't want to end sooner. Feldroth goes in, gets taken down. The curse is still going to push into the core. Durotan's going to be able to defend that, but going to be able to soak in the process. So now, on the side of Tiny Dancers, you got to think that they're looking for that level 20 advantage, and their camp should get them most of the way there, if not the rest of the way there. Yeah, the siege camp will certainly get them the rest of the way there. Looks like Durotan's wanted to look for a pick. They do find ETC. ETC, though, even if they got on him, he has stage dive. Varian, meanwhile, going to soak this top. Level 20s are here. Bolt of the Storm coming in from Sylvanas. ETC, given the bevy of options, taking Storm Shield, certainly good for a final core push, as well as maybe mitigating some burst from that Bloodlust. From there, Disintegrate upgrade for the slows. You got the Banner upgrade from Varian. And Lucio taking that House Party. Just a lot of bonus healing. A lot of bonus healing. That said, still just not really committing to anything. They have the 20s now, and I gotta think, yes, they're dominating very heavily, but they really, I think, want to be in Durotan's Couch's face here, looking for that pick opportunity. That said, Durotan's just content to stay under their core. Feldroth is going to get out, avoid the minus 75 armor. Durotan's is only a level away from 20.
Gather tribute or face my curse. Which yours to see?
Tribute is up, but it's not really a relevant factor in the game. Tiny Dancers, now they're rotating around looking to support their siege. But just kind of a Mexican standoff at the moment, all things considered. Nobody really committing to making any play, but you gotta think this only favors Durotan. Now here comes the engage. Varian goes in, does not get the taunt off. And still, the XP just trickling the way of Durotan's Couch. Many Dancers really yet to go for that killer play, and they might not get one now as 20 comes in. Faustat has the Gust upgrade, got the Dragon's Arrow upgrade, the Bloodlust upgrade, the Blessed Shield upgrade. Oh, give me the Hyperion upgrade. Ah! I knew we weren't going to get the Hyperion upgrade, but I just wanted to meme. 5 ult upgrades. No, pretty standard, all told, across the board. Now looking at Chernobyl. Chernobyl has the Iron Skin. It has fallen off. There's the taunt. Damage coming in. ETC Power Slide on the backline. Dragon's Arrow hits Rhaegar, but they still manage to get Chernobyl. Mighty Gust used to knock the rest of the team out of the way, but they're still engaging this. Sylve goes in, wanting Captain Wedge, uses the Bolt, but does get knocked back by Raynor. 5v4 at the moment with Joanna down. And all the ults blown, only 1 kill. Ace trying to chunk down the members of Tiny Dancers as they go. Here comes the taunt, though. They find Wildcard, and Wildcard is not getting out of this one. But neither does ETC, who gets the reduced armor from the core. Big egg roll, though, goes down. I think Tiny Dancer's finally going to be able to end this game. They dominated really the whole way throughout, but just never saw what they wanted that would lead them to end. And now, though, they do get to that point. And they do get the core down. Game 1, headed over to the side of Tiny Dancers. And so, taking a look at that game, definitely Tiny Dancers dominating throughout. Not too surprising. But I think if the game were closer, I think their hesitance to end the game really could have punished them. And so I think Durotan's has something to build from in that respect. Still, though, great play, I thought, by Feldroth. Really, really good play, I thought, by Liddell on the Varian. But with that, we're going to get set up here for game number 2. We're going to see who gets to advance to play the winner of the One Tricks versus Uncomfortably Numb here in B East. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. right, welcome back to our next gaming series. DB Smiley here, bringing you Map 2 between Tiny Dancers and Durotan's Couch. Could be the decider. Tiny Dancers certainly looked dominant in game number 1. Durotan's Couch choosing to go with first pick. Tiny Dancers taking them, though, to a team fight-oriented map in Volskaya. I was kind of surprised by this. I expected really Tiny Dancers, the way they dominated the macro, to maybe favor that type of map heading into the series. But nonetheless, it will be Volskaya Foundry. Durotan's Couch gotta come up with some kind of answer, though. This was really a dominated map number 1 by Tiny Dancers. So certainly expecting to see more out of them. I am not muted. That is absolutely a lie. I'm very certain I am not muted. You are very much a troll, sir. And I do not like you. No, actually I do like you. That's why I hate you so much. Because I respect you. And I hate what I respect. Except my parents, I just hate them. Pardon me. Didn't manage to hit the mute button before the sneeze came out. I'll stick to the prepared material for the rest of the night, as actually my parents were wonderful. They were quite good. I'm the only reason I'm such a fuck up. Anyway. But with that, perfect time to take a drink of beer, and perfect time to jump into the draft here. Wait, Silver, you were muted? Great stuff. Great stuff. Oh my goodness. Alright, well with that. Tiny Dancers, Durotans, game 2. Durotans with the first pick. What is going to get denied here? Was there something they thought was a unique problem last game? We'll have to see. Yeah, that's the problem, is I cover with my left arm, but I also press mute with my left arm. It's a veritable catch-22. 22 being the number of sneezes that I typically catch in my left arm each day. I don't know why. My wife has said this. I apparently sneeze more than anyone she's ever met in her life. I don't even have allergies. I don't get it. Apparently I also have a very violent. That one I do know. But Zul'jin banned out. That is certainly something that we've seen Feldroth play. Going even back to last season, it's been a strong suit here. Only played the hero 4 times this season. 3-1 though. Good result. ETC once again banned out. Denied to Durotan's Couch. Not banned out. It wasn't banned out last game. It was picked by Tiny Dancers. Result was the same, to not allow Durotan's Couch to really have the tool that they build a lot of their comps around. Even when casting a game and saying innocuous statements, Kurama wants to argue with me. Cool story. Anyway. Kel'Thas is going to be the first pick coming out from Durotan's. Has been a popular hero. Even in B East. 51% win rate in Division B East. Only a 26% pick rate. I actually was surprised it was that low. 25% ban rate. But there is the Cassia. And Cassia has gotten some buffs. Cassia currently, I believe, is the highest win rate hero in the game at the moment. Not necessarily an NGS, but up there. There we go. Cassia, currently 51% win rate. Before the buff, I think she was sitting at a 0% pick rate, maybe a 1%. But then there's the Garrosh Anna going to be grabbed, as well as the Leo. And Leo has really just, because of the enabling power of Entomb, has certainly been popular this season. Only a 47% win rate, though, but very good on maps that are guaranteed to get to 20. And it feels like Volskaya is. The winning team usually at 20 by the third objective, if the third objective ends. And if it doesn't, then certainly both teams will be at 20. Maiev going to be denied. taking Ace off of that hero. I have been on the receiving end of Ace Maiev, and it is unpleasant. And thank you, sir, but I do not want another. Lucio gonna get denied from Materium. Makes sense, especially with the Garrosh. That's a pretty difficult combo. I don't think we get a Nano Pyro, but it is Durotan's couch. So, like, I don't think we're gonna get it, but, like, I'm totally ready for it when I pick my healer on the side of Tiny Dancers. I think they picked a good healer in Anduin. Seemed like a likely choice. Anduin can have trouble stepping up into the Leo Kel'Thas, because he does want to step up to get those auto attacks off, to get those big W hits. Yeah, I mean, KT's not the best nano target by any means, but he is the nano target all the same. Unless they go Eye of Horus, and for the note, Eye of Horus, not a meme talent. Eye of Horus is fine. I like Eye of Horus. Eye of Horus is alright by me. I mean, on this map, I would tend to prefer Nano, but I don't hate Eye of Horus. I really don't. Last pick coming in. Do we get a curveball? They did go double tank, but Joe can clear the lane. It is something that Tiny Dancers does a lot. They will run Joe in the solo lane with her wave clear. And they have a lot of protection for that Tass, as well as a lot of engage with the Cassia. The one thing they are dependent on is their assassins need to do pretty much all of their damage. But I think they have the potential to make this comp work. I think they do. So, we'll see. Let me just making sure I didn't fuck things up like I did last time. Alright, we're good to go. Looking at the comps, I mean, this is very, very much a comfort Tiny Dancers comp. Very, very much comfort. On the other hand, very standard comp out of Durotan's couch as we get ready to hop into the game here. Very standard comp. I mean, there's a computer over here that I use when I'm casting, and I know that sounds weird, but totally works. We're going to go ahead and jump into the game now. Here we go. Alright. Ready to go. Here are your two teams. On the left side, Tiny Dancer is going to be Feldroth on Tassadar, Liddell on the Joanna, Silver on Garrosh, Materium going to be on Anduin, and Fishing Queen on the Cassia. Looking for that domination. Durotan's couch need to win 2 to keep their playoff race alive. Captain Wedge on the Leo, Big Egg Roll on Kael'thas, Ace on the Greymane, Sir Noble going to be on Muradin, and Wildcard on the Anna. Level 1 talents. Tass going with that stacking Q. That is a good point that you're raising, Dark Angel, and it's that I don't... They have the Cursed Bullet, but outside of that, they don't really have anything to finish the Garrosh. Like, because Cursed Bullet's not going to finish. They have, I guess, auto attacks, but I don't know. I'm a bit worried. I guess they're going to be very reliant maybe on Leo to get that last pick. Garrosh is always hard to kill, even on a good day. It's going to really be dependent on Greymane to get those kills. I just called him Silver because I saw you do it earlier. It's not cleverness, Ektar. It's intellectual property theft, and I will see you in court. You'll be suing me in this case because I just admitted on live stream that I'm stealing your intellectual property. So, you know, every jury in the world's going to convict me. I'd probably get a summary judgment, frankly. Cassian out working on that siege camp for the side of Durotans. Not Durotans, excuse me, Tiny Dancers. I misspoke. Siege camp getting grabbed here a little early by Durotans. Normally you want to hold that a little bit longer in order to make sure that it's pushing at the time the first objective starts. Sir Noble just letting everyone know how good he is. Liddell actually taking a lot of damage there from the Leo, and that is something where, you know, if the Leo wants to 1v1 that, he's gonna win because of the percent damage. Joe has the damage of, I believe, a wet noodle that has also it's also angel hair, I will say. That metaphor got away from me. They wet angel hair pasta. That's how much damage she had. But right now, fairly even. If anything, Durotan's with a slight XP lead, though we saw that in the last game. It is an interesting discussion. I think in B West, Caffeinated Knights was clearly, this is in response to something in chat, Caffeinated Knights was clearly far and away the best team in B West. And there was no question. Tiny Dancers lost 2 matches, I believe. And I think every other team lost. See, we lost 2. I think Tricky lost 2. Every team in BE's lost matches that they didn't want to lose. I believe every team has lost the match to a lower seed, save for, you know, at the bottom. But to that end, it makes it kind of harder to predict. Is Caffeinated Knights just that good? Is B East deeper than B West? I don't know, we'll see. But as we head into this first objective, we'll find out later on this season. Ooh, there's a big Tassadar wall. Throwing Leo back, he does Spooky Ghost on out of there. Right now, it looks like Durotans with that healing totem should be able to control the point for the time being. And they do. And with both camps neutralized out top, there's not really that soak advantage that Tiny Dancers can just easily pick up in their absence. If they rotate away to soak, certainly Durotans can afford to do the same. Looks like Tiny Dancer still wants this fight. Both teams have 7. Liddell and Garrosh stepping up. Greymane isolated out a bit, but Fishing Queen, not the best fend angle, as Greymane could just step to the side there. Silver now quite a bit low. And Kel'Thas actually doing a bit of damage. Durotans has reached overtime. Can they bully Tiny Dancers off the point? Leo is going to go down here, and Sir Noble might go down as well. I don't think they are, but they do have the ability to back up. Ooh, that's it. Cassia is going to go down to the turret off the Murden Stormbolt, and Murden's actually finished his baseline quest. The Murden now with that piercing Stormbolt, that is massive, and Durotans is going to get the first objective. They almost got Tassadar there, but Veldroth has some pretty good task walls. Is there a B's versus B West final? Yes, there is. This is all Division B. So the champion of the B East bracket, as you can see, we have a moment. I can show you this. As you can see here, the 2 teams will face off at the end. Back to the game. No, that's me. Don't show the ugly guy. There we go. Sorry, I just got this caster deck, and so I'm still getting used to it. Triglav does get the front wall. There wasn't really anything too big on. Ooh, Sir Noble did have the jump. Manages to get away. So there we go. Triglav gets top well, gets front wall. Mid wall also going down here. So actually this is a moment where you know, I'll say it. Durotan's couch just seems to be sitting pretty in this game right now. They're looking very strong at the moment. Equal on kills, but they have the XP lead, and they do have the structure lead now. Both teams have their siege camp up. Greymane rotating into it. Whereas, on the other hand, Tiny Dancers maybe looks like they want to go top. Thank you, D, for the raid of 17. We got a Division B East playoff matchup here. 1 seed Tiny Dancers versus 8 seed Durotan's Couch. Tiny Dancers up 1-0, as you can see, but Durotan's Couch so far looking a lot more composed here in game number 2. So go ahead and stick around and give us a watch and joke around in chat. So now, Chernobyl clearing up the top lane. We're trying to keep an eye on these rotations. Obviously, anytime Garrosh is rotating, if he finds someone just a little bit out of position, has the ability to punish. That said, Durotan's Couch making a very aggressive play for this med camp. Joanna rotating in. But it's still a 4v5 at the moment. Big Egg Roll, gets thrown in, but didn't quite land that combo to Garrosh. Nonetheless, the Black Hole putting Chernobyl in a spot where he has to jump away, and even without Joanna, Tiny Dancers winning the 4v5 there. That Garrosh pressure in the backline, just a little too hot for Durotan's Couch to handle. Now they're going to have an opportunity, maybe for Chernobyl. The root lands. There's the fence. Chernobyl, though, has the jump and gets through. Great sleep dart there by Wildcard, preventing the follow-up. And that was a great save there by the members of Durotan's Couch. Level 10s are here. And speaking of, we have Falling Sword Decimate. Muradin has the avatar blown. Now to back up. No, Taswall catching him out. Liddell looking for this. His Dwarf Toss is down. There's the stun. Here's the Falling Sword zoning off, and Chernobyl does go down. Just pushed up a bit too much there. But as we said, Falling Sword and Decimate, Black Hole, and we have Salvation, which is a bit surprising. There's a lot of interrupts on the side of Durotan's Couch. Especially with the Falling Sword, you'd think Light Bomb would be the choice.
I'm starting up an
Kind of surprised by that. We will see what happens here. Cassia cleaning up this top lane with the help of some colleagues. Level 13 has kicked over for Tiny Dancers, but Durotan's Couch by no means that far behind. Potentially a pick-off coming on to Leo. See if Wedge got the memo. Or actually, no. This won't be a pick. This will just be a turret camp steal. The current turret camp going to be grabbed, whereas Durotan's focusing on getting the objective channel. And now here comes that rotation top. Joanna mounting up as well. So Joanna will be there before Leo, so Durotan's might need to back up off this one. And actually, I just noticed there was a switch after draft where Ace picked up Kel'Thas and Big Egg Roll, which to Greymane. I only just noticed that. Ooh, big curse bullet onto Liddell. A lot of damage. And there's the healing reduction grenade. And Silver goes in with the Into the Fray to peel out Cassia from the Entomb. Gets caught himself, but okay. Black Hole, though, zones out. Doesn't actually catch anyone. The Nano was used onto Kel'Thas, but no kill was found. There's a flip onto Leo. He does have the Spooky Ghost available. But, ooh, there's the Salvation getting a lot of value. And there were no interrupts there. The Salvation, that was unironic when I said Salvation gets a lot of value. The whole team got healed there. Salvation ultimately not just for the Protect, although that's the primary reason for it. That healing, if you get 5 people in it, is a massive AoE heal. Absolutely massive. There's a root onto Mura. Mura stepping back, gets stunned out. There is the wall separating out Captain Wedge. He does have the Spooky Ghost and getting the damage reduction. Oh, but the Falling Sword into the backline gets punished with the sleep into the Cursed Bullet. That's it. Captain Wedge steps up, very low health looking for the Entomb. And I don't know if there's going to be any follow-up there. If anything, Durotan's Couch, I think, needs to walk away from this and get ready to defend an objective. Durotan's just not really able to find the kills there. Didn't seem to all be on the same page, despite getting some people low. And Tiny Dancers now with about 2/3 of a level lead, maybe 3/4, call it. On the way to 16, and now with the second Triglav Protector. It's an 11-minute Protector, as all vehicles scale by the minute here in this game called Heroes of the Storm. That is filling dead air for you, folks. Procaster move. I know I suck. Don't worry. This Triglav taking a lot of damage, but it is baiting the members of Durotan's into the chase. All the while, the rest of the members of Tiny Dancers did at least get the bottom wall. Now, this Triglav about to fall off, but still the push coming into the bot. Durotans looks like they're sending Greymane down. A lot of damage from the Kael'thas. 16 is here for Tiny Dancers. Do they look for the engage with this opportunity? There's the Entomb. Onto the Anduin. Protected. Gets interrupted. The Phoenix is there, but Materium does survive. No! Kael'thas gets the finish with the Living Bomb thanks to the help of Egg Roll Dive. And now Captain Wedge probably going to need the Spooky Ghost out of this one, but actually going to survive. Ooh, there's the Sleep Dart onto Joe. Is the follow-up going to be there? It was not, but still, very low kill game, especially for Volskaya. You think of it more like a brawly map. Only 3 kills to 2 so far. But now, straight to the Healing Totem goes Durotan's Couch. Cassia thinks about going to top siege. Gets the moment for the rest of the team. They want turret. They don't want to get it stolen off an invade here. The invade might be coming all the same. Here comes Leo. Entomb is available. Finds Cassia. Muradin goes in as well. Liddell is extremely low. The Black Hole almost disengages, but no, 2 kills there from Kael'thas. And Durotan's Couch is on a warpath now. They get 2 kills. They need to. All right, they need to be off the warpath now. It's time to take the go home and get a job working at Costco path. All right, they do. That was, Muradin wanted more. But that said, now with these 2 kills, with the death timers as long as they are, this may not just be bottom wall going down. This very well may be bottom fort, especially with Muradin going into the Sledgehammer, which I only just noticed now, and I think it's a meme pick, but when it gets value, it gets value, and I think we're seeing that here. Just look at this fort drop. And Durotan's Couch draws first Structure Blood. Up 4 to 3 kills in this game, now tied on XP. Technically very slight lead, but only just. Effective tie on XP. They do grab a turret though, so they have 2 turrets and a Healing Totem in hand. Certainly will bode well for them here in the coming C point fight. That C point is a bitch. I don't think anyone in the game likes fighting on C point. It is just so awkward. Like if your team has teleports or dives or anything like that, like you have such a big advantage on C point just because you don't have to deal with the treadmills as much. The treadmills on C are just noxious. 3v3 here in the top. Need to be careful. Ooh, Task came in with a good flank wall, but Chernobyl reacted quickly with the Dwarf Toss. Mid lane here. 18 by both teams. Leo starting to cap the point. Durotans looks like they want to commit to this. They do have a slight XP lead. Tiny Dancers, on the other hand, looks like they want to trade out, get fort top, look for 20 off minions. The question is, how much time do they have? It is 35 and counting. And the fort, remember, does not give XP. It gives a passive XP boost, but the actual kill on the fort does not grant any experience. So now with 63%, Tiny Dancers with a long rotation, they might find themselves smack dab against the Triglav Protector, and Muradin now taking a turret, Dwarf tossing away. Muradin is in an awkward spot, to say the least. Now Silver stepping onto the point. Muradin trying to get they try to stun Muradin out. Muradin does have that turret, now drops it. AG Silver taking a ton of damage, and Kael'thas might secure the kill. Karash goes down, so does Muradin. The big Phoenix chunking out a ton of damage. Captain Wedge able to get out of there for the time being, but these turrets are just slowly zoning off Tiny Dancers. Wildcard steps up, looks for the sleep dart, doesn't find it. But Durotan's Couch wins the third protector. The fort does spawn catapults. But it's a macro play is what I'm saying. So my thought was Tiny Dancers wanted to race 20 there. The fort doesn't really help them do that. I mean, the 20% passive XP is not going to make a big difference that close to 20. And so they still managed to get the fight 19-19, but Durotan's handled it well. Once you saw Cassie and Task blow everything into the Mura, Bob wasn't there. Here comes the the Falling Sword, gets onto Wildcard, and they do secure the kill onto Anna and Leo, actually. So they defend this Triglav extremely well by not attacking the Triglav. Triglav not going to get a lot of value anymore. We are certainly going to see a fourth. And keep in mind, both teams still have 5 structures standing in this game. Although with 2 dead, that may not be the truth for long. Triglav now on defense duty, and that's never how you want to spend an objective. Cassia, meanwhile, has moved to the bottom, looking for this bot fort with minions. So keep an eye on that. But, that said, Durotan's Couch still has their well in the middle. And that may bode well if they can hold on to it until the next protector. Captain Wedge is reposting in the wrong neighborhood here. Does get away. Spooky Ghost goes late. That's like Captain Wedge might have turned around at a bad time. Blows the Entomb just to make sure he can get away, prevent the spell damage. But that will be the turret grabbed, as well as Entomb down for another 40. It's a relatively short cooldown, so to blow it to a getaway is certainly valuable, but that's basically 40 seconds, well now 30. But Durotan's Couch is not going to be able to get some kind of pickoff. Speaking of... they're not going to be able to find a pick-off here as easily. The healing camp now. Falling Sword into the back line. We'll keep an eye on that. There's the turnaround. Cursed Bullet and the stun. Captain Wedge tries to zone off the back line. Does get the Spooky Ghost damage reduction. Immediate interrupt onto the Redemption, and that might be enough for Durotan's Couch to get some kills here if they can get their damage in. Falling Sword comes back in with the reduced cooldown. Sleep Dart onto the back on Liddell. Captain Wedge goes down, but Big Aggro goes in and gets the kill on Joanna. It's a 1-for-1 trade. And now, Durotan's Couch, can they find another kill? They look like they want it. There's a task wall onto Ace. Follow-up wasn't there. 1-for-1 trade. Looks like that's how it's going to end. But when Leo dies versus a Joanna, that means you're going to get that advantage. Sorry, I have an over-aggressive thing that thinks B. Anna was something naughty. Hang on 1 second. Here we go, back into the match. Sorry about that. Needed to do some moderation work. You guys working me to the bone over here. I don't know why it thought B. Anna was offensive. If anyone can explain to me how B. Anna got picked up by my autofilter, very open to hearing about it. But here we go now. 52 viewers. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. This is very tense. Game number 2 between Durotan's Couch and Tiny Dancers. And Tiny Dancers having some trouble on this map relative to Cursed Hollow, where they looked like they dominated. Sleep Dart onto Cassia. Here comes Leo. Finds the Entomb. Hits 2. Anduin pulls Cassia out of it. There's a black hole with the task wall. And Ace is probably going to go down. No, he might get away. Leo has gone down, though. And there's the Infinite Lightning Ball with the Falling Sword. Gets onto Wildcard, gets onto Ace. The damage is there. They get the kill, and this might be it. Tiny Dancers might be able to end the series off this. Looking for kill number 4. Task Wall tries to get onto Sir Noble. Sir Noble is going to get away from this. But that could be the game. It will certainly at least be the Triglav Protector. They chased Muradin up for so long that with only 40 seconds, I don't see Tiny Dancers being able to end yet. They could at least take out a keep wall. I think that's a play that would benefit them well. But playing this safe, that's something that Tiny Dancers did a lot in the last game. I mentioned how in the last game I was worried that some, it was a huge pull from Anduin. Good point, Ektar. But sometimes I wonder, maybe Tiny Dancers are just a bit too safe. As I think they could have gotten more off those deaths. That double pull, getting a lot of value. That said now, long cooldown to have both pulls back up. Captain Wedge coming in. Entomb is available. There's the big silence. Pull comes out. There it is. Here comes a falling sword on the back line. It will kill Captain Wedge and Greymane. And, man, Durotan's couch really took that fight without everyone there, hoping everyone would engage in time. And that really backfired off the counter engage. And now the task wall with AG Silver going to secure the kills. Another huge volley from Tiny Dancers, and that is 4 kills, and now with the Triglav, you have to imagine that is GG and the series. This is Division B East Playoffs. The Durotan's couch watching their season end here. They put on a good season, they got some big upsets. Down the stretch, had some disappointing losses. Looked good here in game number 2. But, you know, Tiny Dancer's a very tough draw here for your first playoff match. They're going to do what they can on the side of Durotan, but it probably will not be enough. Triglav at this point can just right-click that core. There's the Entomb. Oh, they will get Garrosh at least, but that is too little too late as the core falls. And that will be the end of the series. Tiny Dancer's going to win this one 2-0. After a very well-fought game number 2. Good to get a good game number 2 in there. Really good to get a game number 2 that looked like a playoff game. Very back and forth, but ultimately, Durotan's is one of those teams that they live by the hard engage, they die by the hard engage. Very much a hard engage, get the first kill team. And once Anduin started getting those pulls late, things just started falling apart for them. As they lost 7 in the last 2 fights. Not counting the Leo pick at the end. We're going to see if we can do a post-game interview. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you all for watching so much. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Next Gaming Series. DB Smiley here, and I am joined by the captain of Tiny Dancers coming off that 2-0 victory, their first round of the playoffs. How you feeling?
Really well. Thanks, Smiley. We felt like we executed the way we wanted to in those games, and felt really good. They were really difficult though, so
Yeah.
like they never felt like we were just going to, like we always felt in danger. So it was really strong.
Yeah, map number 1, I would say you guys dominated fairly handedly, but we're rather hesitant at looking for opportunities to end the game. What was the primary motivation behind that? And it might relate to what you just said.
It was one of those things where we've all been burned, I think, by trying to go core too early. Now, Curse doesn't have the most dangerous core powers, I don't think, in the game. So
Go
that's
back
nice.
and look at our game against Bad by Design and tell me that.
It's a really
Because the core we should have lost, and the core won us the game.
nice.
Very handedly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think all core powers are pretty dang strong, especially if you have lockdown because they do percentage health and a lot of cool stuff. But so yeah, that's definitely something we've seen a ton, and we didn't want to risk anything. It's one of those things where if you're in the lead, there's no reason to overextend yourself. And I think the first opportunity we had was at level 16 versus a couple level advantage. And 16, the cooldowns are just like the death timers are still just so low. And it was really early in the game, like we'd gotten there pretty quickly, so we didn't want to do that. But as we got later in the game, we just had to be really, really patient because we got everything there was to do so quickly that it was just kind of just hanging out and making sure we didn't, shoot ourselves in the foot.
Well, you guys picked Map Pick for game number 2 and took it to Volskaya, and I mentioned at the time I was actually a bit surprised by that. And I know you guys play Volskaya a lot, but it seemed like what really worked for you in game number 1. I mean, you were winning team fights, but certainly it seemed the macro was very heavily in your favor, and you went to a map that really doesn't have macro. What was the idea behind the map?
So that one was we ended up getting 2 really solid assassins that I would consider very meta right now, which is nice. And both of them have stacking abilities. Tess is finite and Cassie is infinite, so we were fine with long games. And then I think we ended up losing our fort first. We were fine just playing the passive game. Yeah. So we were like, all right, you can take the fort. That we just wanted to make sure we're minimizing our losses in the area. We're okay with that. We did that, and then we focused on engages that we could control or engages when they were, trying to match our macro. The thing with Leo is he's a great wave clear and he's a great in the team fight, but he can't be everywhere at once. So if we're maximizing our macro presence and making sure they're forced to clear something, then we can be really aggressive for the rest. So our goal is to have really aggressive team fight and force them to choose between fighting us even or losing things on the map.
Right.
And as the further we got in the game, we were able to make those choices really clearly.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, the game was still really even until you kind of busted it open at the end off 2 big team fights. Those last 2 team fights, you got 3 kills and then you got 4. The 4 kill one was maybe like the Warriors engaged a bit aggressively. You had the big, the task force wall to lock down 2 more kills. But what was the big difference, you think, in those last 2 team fights that ultimately won you those fights where earlier you may have seen someone picked off? What was the big difference?
I think so. Both of those fights were post level 20. There was a bit of the game that was post 20. All of our team characters had really solid power spikes that were really evenly spread throughout the game. So we saw opportunities for them to, try to figure out how we work, and then for us to get a power spike and us subtly shift that. So I think that's really strong when you can choose characters or your draft works out that the characters are working like that. Level 20 was a huge power spike for us between the double pull for Anduin, the quick resets on Falling Sword for Johanna, letting her just be everywhere all the time. Garrosh getting damage reduction on his AoE ult, like that's huge. And then obviously Task gets extra range, which lets me like block off the Ana and reduce cooldown. So all of our things that were working really well just became hyper efficient at 20. And then so we're like, all right, let's get fights. Okay, let's fight in areas where I can just make sure we get a black hole and disable a ton of people at once. It's constantly, even in the fight, just making sure that they're forcing them to choose between engaging your backline, crushing themselves against your solid front line, or jumping in the middle of a black hole, which nobody wants to do. So
that was a long answer, but it was incorrect. You forgot to mention it's the healer, because it's always the healer. as we all know,
Well, the first thing I said was double pull.
healers are the greatest players in the game, and they,
Yeah.
dare I say it, the handsomest.
Well, I mean, I
Dare I
can't
say it?
verify the second part, but I can say that they're one of the most
Yeah.
critical, and I super agree with you on that.
No, I'm just memeing. I really just wanted to give a shout out to Materium as I did queue up his player highlight screen. I thought Materium played a really good series, especially had in my mind, because of the way Durotan's plays, they're very much we're gonna get the first kill and then do something with it. That's always going all the way back to season 1. That's how they played, and Materium did deny those, so I wanted to give that shout out. But with that, now it's your turn to give your own shout outs. So, Feldroth.
Well, you did the one for Materium, so he can go somewhere else. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's first shout out to our team. It's been a very long season, and we're keeping our head in the game. Really appreciate those, everyone we have, for being so dedicated and great attitude in the whole 9 yards. So that's fantastic. Shout out to you for casting us. We super duper appreciate it.
Happy to.
Shout out to the hugely active chat and everyone in Div B. Like, it's just been a super great time getting to know everybody and playing against them and doing all that kind of stuff. Shout out to our families, which is what I always do for dealing with us, shouting loud random things that they don't understand at the computer from other rooms, and being generally obnoxious. So we appreciate them. And I think that's got it. Shout out to Durotan's Couch for an awesome series and putting up a good showing. So,
well, one last question before I let you go.
Okay.
Take a look at the bracket. So you obviously advanced tonight. You play the winner of the One Tricks and Uncomfortably Numb. I'm not gonna let you. You have to pick one. You have to. I have to
pick one.
Who would you be more scared of?
So Uncomfortably Numb is a ringer.
Only the team name. Only the team name.
I'm gonna go with One Tricks.
You're more afraid of One Tricks. All right.
I'm more afraid of One Tricks.
First. You heard that, Uncomfortably Numb. Tiny Dancers thinks you suck. I mean, just put that on your bulletin board during practice. You heard it, right? You heard it right from Feldroth's mouth.
If you clip just that segment, totally
rude. On my stream, sir.
Okay, well,
I'm just screwing around.
This
right.
has been a pleasure. No, I'm just kidding. My reputation is tarnished. I'm so glad I joined this.
No, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Fun to watch the series. Always great to talk to you. You got a real good mind for the game. You guys have been really doing well, and it's great to have you back in B East this season. Remind me, how did our match go? I can't remember. All right, I'll stop trolling. I'll stop trolling. I'll stop. Don't worry, we're going to lose in the first round, so it's fine.
Well, seeing as it didn't matter, I feel like we all had a great time, and it was really frustrating.
It mattered for us, yeah.
You guys were great, and you played amazing, so great work.
Well, actually, so here's the thing. We wanted to 2-0 that series so we could avoid Roomba rotations. And then Uncomfortably Numb fucking had to beat Tricky Gooses. So we still have to play Roomba rotations.
I'm not gonna lie, your bracket is way harder. I feel like in terms of like the unknown, potentially really scary things than ours. Not to say Uncomfortably Numb and One Tricks don't have a lot going for them. One Tricks is great. Uncomfortably Numb is a ringer. We don't know what's going on. So I don't know. It's gonna be hard, but I don't envy you guys. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, thank you again, and great interview. And with that, we're going to bring this to a close. I apologize to Feldroth, I always just randomly drop at the end of the interview, and it's just because when I say goodbye, like, people feel like, goodbye, and you don't need to say that. Let me see real quick when the next match is. So next match is at 11 o'clock. So it's not yet. It is at 11 o'clock, and that is going to be casted by Jinxie Cat. So go ahead, I'll drop the link in chat. Next match, Jinxie Cat, and I will see everyone next time in the Nexus.